You said something though that I want you to unpack a little bit more. You called Jesus the icon of God. He reveals the Father to us. And I remember you telling me that quote. I can't remember which pope it's from. With on the cross, Jesus reveals to us the face of God, the face of sin, and the face of man. I wonder, could you unpack that a little bit more? Because
Sure.
that moment on Calvary is a culmination of a lot of what you're talking about. It's the climax, but then also the doorway into this new life that you're
Yeah.
describing.
Yeah, that's a quote from St. John Paul II. He said, when we behold Christ on the cross, we're seeing a great revelation. We're seeing the reality, the face of God. What is God like? The face of man and the face of sin. So you see the face of God is what? God's mercy. You see the amazing mercy of God, the love of God revealed in Jesus Christ. Jesus, for God so loved the world, he gave his only son, right? And he gave his son, not just to take on human flesh, but he gave his son for Calvary as well. And Jesus on the cross, then he reveals to us the meaning of what it means to be human. Not only is the love of the Father revealed in Jesus on the cross, by laying down his life, no greater love is a man than this, he'd lay down his life for his friends. But then what we see is the truth, some deep, profound truths about first what it means to be human. From the cross, Jesus is saying to us, look, he's the definition of fulfillment and success. What do we mean by that? He's fulfilling the great commandments. He's loving God with all of his heart, soul, mind, and strength. And he's loving his neighbor. He's loving you and me. He's dying for us, right? So Jesus told us in Matthew 22 that the first commandment to love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength is the first and the greatest thing. So Jesus is communicating to us and giving to the Father what every human being was meant to give, and every human being fell short. All of us fall short of God's glory because none of us can fill the commandments full. None of us love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. He was the one who gave to God from this earth. One of us finally gave to God what belongs to God and loved God perfectly and loved his neighbor perfectly and loved himself in the Father. So that's what's revealed about humanity. But also, you also see the face of sin. Love came. Perfect love came, and we killed it. It reveals the condition of the human heart. We want to be God. We want to be in control. We don't want to serve. And Jesus showed us, Philippians chapter 2, Paul's beautiful hymn about Jesus. I think one of those amazing things that's revealed on the cross there is Jesus shows us the way. He's the way, right? He's the way, to fulfillment and ultimately to heaven, to glory. He's the truth about how we're supposed to live. And he's the life. He shows us the life we're meant to live and how to come into life. And on the cross, on Calvary, Paul says so beautifully, he humbled himself. How did he humble himself? Remember, Jesus said, learn from me, I'm meek and I'm humble of heart. This Lord who is so full of glory and majesty and everything made for him, what's he like? He's humble. Look at how different he is than creatures. How, humble, simple creatures, totally dependent. And we beat our chest and we think our stuff doesn't stink and we're rich and powerful and famous and everybody knows me and I don't need to pay attention to God and it's a joke. You know what I mean? It's like a little ant on the ground who's raising his little fist up at me on a hot sunny day as I'm about to step on him. I don't even notice him, right? The difference is so great. But God, look at God's nature. God's nature is to humble himself. And how is humility expressed? Through obedience. He obeyed the Father. Jesus told the apostles the night before. He said, look, what's going to happen to me, I'm going to show the whole world that I love the Father, and I'm going to show it because I obey my Father. I do everything my Father commands me. This is life. This is joy. This is freedom, right? So that's all that's revealed. And the ugliness of sin, of course, is revealed there. It's essentially partly what I'm trying to say. Sin is the desire that's in the human heart. Why don't we accept the love that comes to us in God? Because we don't want to submit. We don't want to yield. There's problems everywhere. It's always going to be here until the Lord comes again. But we're no different than the men and women who lived at the time of Jesus. What's revealed there is my heart. but also my destiny. If I humble myself and walk in the footsteps of Jesus,